Now, some of you out there might have been thinking lately that I had forgotten about rounding out the team, considering just how long it's been since the engineer, medic, demo man, and spy have all had their own showcases on this channel. Now, even more of you might have even continued that thought as of late, as it's been even more time since the Scout, Sniper, Soldier, and Heavy have all had their own showcases too, and I'll be honest with you. You're all 100% right. Beardo kinda sorta forgot about the Pyro mods that he's been sitting on for over half a year and just did simply nothing with them for whatever reason. That is, until today. And we ain't talking just one Pyro, mind you, but rather two. Now, the former was the Don't Starve Together version and probably the most recent rendition. This guy, though, is for solo Don't Starve and is almost 8 years old, believe it or not. That said, he still might be the most interesting out of the couple at the end of the day, so we're starting here. And while you will notice a nice set of pretty average stats across the board with 120 hunger, 180 sanity, and 150 health, my guess is that you're going to notice something far more interesting than his basic stats. His Pyro Vision. Configurable if one doesn't actually like the way the world looks with it. The Pyro is going to see many things differently, like saplings, evergreens, crows, but crows alone, mind you, berry bushes, grass tufts, birchnut trees, rabbits, although not bunnymen, I suppose, all boulder types, and even tall birds, of which are psychedelically terrifying, if I may add. Note, too, that this Pyro Vision actually corresponds to high sanity, so all of these things won't exactly look like this all the time at the end of the day. Still, it's kinda neat. But what else does our solo Don't Starve Pyromaniac actually have for us? Well, believe it or not, the fact that he isn't quite a Pyromaniac. The man still will take damage from fire, so be mindful there. But don't fret, this is not going to be an issue for Pyromaniac number 2 later on. All that said, though, our friend here does indeed boast complete immunity to wetness due to his suit, and this is a perk that will belong to him and him alone. So yes, both Pyros do have their distinctions for sure. Like how while both will benefit from a built-in 20% damage boost with all weapons essentially, only the Don't Starve Together version can actually wear armor. Well, kind of, I suppose. For you see, the solo version here can still wear a select few pieces of gear, however it will all depend on whether the configuration options are actually switched on to allow you to do so. Now you can make it to where no armor can be worn, or just have it where the game allows all the armor, which I probably suggest because I'm not actually sure what determines what can be worn and what can't. But here's a choice that none of us can make or reverse. His refusal to interact with Otto Van Chesterfield Esquire, everyone. Yes, indeed. Like a man after my own heart, the Pyro refuses to be around and use Chester. In fact, I'm not even positive that Chester's eyebone even spawns while playing this character, as I could not only not teleport to it, but the game wouldn't even let me spawn another eyebone in, no matter what I did. So good man, Pyro. Good man. The Pyro here also spawns in with 4 items immediately, just ready to go within their inventory, one of which is the Fire Axe. Offering 140 uses for attacking and chopping trees, it can also be utilized as a hammer for a number of uses, as you can see. But if you need another, you best be ready to fork over some flint, rope, and even living logs to get one. The flare gun is next and offers a ranged fiery blast that will deal a whopping 96 damage each hit, while also setting anything you do hit ablaze instantly, including things that are not actually mobs. Be mindful though, each gun only has 5 shots total. Thing is, making a new one really ain't that hard. So perhaps just set everything on fire. The Pyro also has something called an endothermic torch, and these things will give us 5 uses each and will spawn mini endothermic fires to help cool us down. Now, the mod says that they also extinguish fires. However, I could not and did not experience this at all. Still, this is wildly useful considering how long even just one flame lasts. And the things themselves are not that expensive to craft either at only 2 niter, 4 twigs, and 2 nightmare fuel a pop. So it's cool stuff. But the last solo pyro craft and item is the Lollychop here. Now I'm not too sure if I missed something, however it just seemed like a simple yet effective melee weapon in his hands with a fun craft. So enjoy the sweet slaps, and if I did miss something, please let me know. But before we jump worlds to Don't Starve Together, here is the Pyro's voice for ya. And funny enough, both versions technically have 2 separate voices, as a setting can be turned on to have it to where the Pyro makes the same noises, sure, but speaks in muffled ramblings essentially. I like it makes sense, and it's gonna get even better in Don't Starve Together here in a minute. Oh, but speaking of, how do the two actually compare? Well, Don't Starve Together's version will increase the Pyro's hunger and health to 175 each over the original's 120 and 150 respectively. However, Don't Starve Together's version also sees his sanity absolutely plummet from 180 total to a mere 75. And those are some pretty drastic changes, honestly. As is this, the fire immunity. While the solo counterpart is safe from the rain, our guy here can go toe-to-toe with Willow at the end of the day. Be mindful though, while he is immune to fire damage, he is not safe from the effects of overheating. So good luck. Also contrary to his solo brethren, he doesn't spawn with anything but a torch in hand, and needs to make his own pyro weapons himself first, like the Axe Extinguisher here. The Axe Extinguisher is once again a multifaceted item of sorts, although it only chops this time around. That said, it is a weapon sitting at 20.4 damage a hit, unless you use it on a burning enemy, and then suddenly the thing is gonna skyrocket up to 88.4 damage a swing. Very, very nice. Oh, but make note in case you've forgotten. The Pyro here already has a 20% damage boost built in, like we alluded to earlier. So you don't always have to be fighting enemies with a very specific weapon while they are very specifically on fire, if you know what I mean. Still, better to use the tools you have to your advantage, right? This Pyro also has a flare gun at their disposal. However, it is far more expensive and certainly less effective as a standalone piece of gear when compared to the one prior. Still, it will still instantly set to fire to mobs, and now has 16 uses total over the original 5. So think of it as a utility over a weapon with this guy. But before we go, a few last notes and highlights. Don't Starve Together's Pyro will refuse to sleep, so be mindful there. Here is a quick look at his ghost of the Don't Starve Together version. And finally, give a listen to not one, but 2 separate voices, one of which takes the muffled speech to a hilarious level. And there you have it, everyone. Not just one Pyro mod, but 2 in one sitting. Don't Starve's version was brought to us many moons ago by familiar faces Kuloslav and Hast, while the still old, yet arguably most recent Don't Starve Together version here was also worked on by Nightfall, as you can see. And thank you 3 for all your work, and there you go, folks. The last member of the team has been highlighted. Thanks for taking the journey through all 9 characters with me, and thanks for watching here today. Well wishes, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.